The galaxy did not fear humans. It laughed at them. Every major species said the same thing: humans were slow, fragile, and far behind in ship technology. Their vessels used engines so outdated that alien cadets studied them only as history lessons. So when the Human Union finally sent a ship into contested space, the galaxy treated it like a joke. A harmless visitor. A slow animal wandering into a battlefield. But the humans did not send a visitor. They sent the Horizon Spear, a long, quiet ship that looked too simple to be dangerous. Its steel hull carried no bright markings, no noble colors, no heavy armor. It seemed like a transport ship that had accidentally drifted into the wrong region. Every sensor pointed at it showed the same thing: weak shields, slow engines, and one old energy cannon. Nothing worth worrying about. And yet, deep inside the vessel, the crew moved with calm discipline. Captain Mara Lauren stood in the center of the command deck, watching the stars shift through the front screen. She was tall, with sharp eyes and a strange stillness that made others listen when she spoke. Around her, humans worked quietly, their movement steady and focused. Not one of them acted like they were entering enemy territory. They acted like they had been waiting for this moment. Outside, hidden behind asteroid shadows, 5 alien warships prepared to intercept them. The ships belonged to the Krith Dominion, a species famous for speed and cruelty. Their ships were shaped like hooked blades, and their commanders believed humans were soft prey. The Krith captain, Sirach Von, watched the slow human ship drift forward and laughed, his voice echoing through the bridge. "Look at that thing," he said. "It crawls through space. It barely moves. Did the humans run out of real ships?" His crew laughed with him. To them, humanity was a small species trying to act big. The Krith believed they owned this region of space, and anyone entering owed them tribute. When they saw the Horizon Spear, they did not prepare a proper attack. They did not ready shields. They only set weapons to low power, planning to scare the humans, humiliate them, and maybe destroy them afterward, if it was amusing. "Open a channel," Sirach ordered. A moment later, his face appeared on the Horizon Spear's screen. Captain Mara's expression did not change. She looked at him as if he were simply another star in the background. "This territory belongs to the Krith Dominion," Sirach said. "Turn around or be." The human captain cut the audio. The Krith bridge went silent. Sirach blinked, shocked. No one had ever dared mute him. Inside the human ship, no one reacted. They continued working with the same calm rhythm. They had been trained for this mission with unusual intensity, and every crew member knew something important, something the rest of the galaxy did not. The Horizon Spear carried a weapon no one had ever seen. As the aliens regained their temper, their ships drifted closer. The Krith lowered their weapons even further, wanting a dramatic moment before the kill. Sirach wanted to see the fear in human eyes. He wanted to watch them beg. Captain Mara waited until the Krith ships were only a few thousand meters away. The aliens believed humans had no fast reflexes. They believed humans were slow thinkers in slow ships. They were wrong. She turned to her weapons officer, a quiet man named Dallin. "One shot," she said. Dallin nodded. His hands moved across the controls, steady and almost gentle, as if he were tuning a musical instrument. The Horizon Spear's single cannon hummed, glowing a soft blue. The Krith ships did not react. Their sensors saw an old, weak human cannon charging. To them, it looked like a desperate, useless attempt. Sirach grinned. "Let them fire. It will be funny." The cannon fired. There was no bright beam, no violent flash, no expanding ring of fire. The shot looked small, almost delicate, a thin line of light that touched the space between the alien ships. For 1 second, nothing happened. Then the sky exploded. A silent shockwave rippled out, bending space like soft cloth. The Krith ships shimmered, then split apart, not burned, not crushed, but sliced cleanly in half as if an invisible blade had passed through them. Their engines drifted away from their hulls. Their weapons compartments floated like broken toys. Not one escape pod launched. Not one distress beacon activated. Every Krith ship simply fell silent. Inside the Horizon Spear, no one spoke. They watched the drifting debris with calm eyes, as if this outcome had been expected all along. Captain Mara finally nodded. "Continue forward." The crew obeyed. Far behind them, hundreds of alien sensors lit up with warnings. Broadcasts began spreading through the galaxy at once. Every message contained the same line, repeated again and again. The human ship fired one shot. And fear spread with it. No one laughed at humanity anymore. News of the destroyed Krith warships traveled faster than any human vessel ever could. Within hours, the entire sector whispered about the Horizon Spear. Some species denied it at first, calling it a human trick. Others demanded evidence. But the Krith Dominion could not hide the truth. 5 of their ships had been cut apart by a single human shot. For the first time in centuries, the Krith remained silent. While the galaxy trembled with rumors, the Horizon Spear continued forward at the same steady pace. It did not speed up or hide. It simply moved, slow and calm, deeper into contested space. To outside watchers, it looked like a peaceful wanderer. But every alien commander who saw its approach felt their skin crawl. Inside the Horizon Spear, the crew understood the danger rising around them. They knew that the Krith's silence meant anger, not retreat. They knew that other species would come to investigate, or to eliminate a threat before it grew too large. But no one panicked. Captain Mara kept the same calm presence, guiding her crew with steady words and colder logic. On the lower engineering deck, a young technician named Lyra worked beside humming control panels. She had never been in real combat before. She was good with numbers, quick with repairs, and known for her quiet nature. But after the first shot, she had trouble breathing. When she closed her eyes, she still saw alien ships splitting apart like glass. Chief Engineer Rulin approached her, his large hand steadying a loose cable. He was old, with gray streaks in his beard and years of ship knowledge behind his eyes. "You saw something frightening," he said without judgment. "It's normal to feel it." Lyra nodded. I didn't think it would be so strong." Rulin gave a small, grim smile. "That's because you're still thinking of it as a cannon." "What is it really?" she asked. He paused before answering, as if weighing how much to reveal. "It is a weapon built from an idea humans were never supposed to touch. Something that bends space instead of burning it. Something that cuts instead of blasts." Lyra swallowed. "Does the galaxy know we made it?" "Not yet." Rulin tightened the cable. "But they will." Above them, in the command deck, Captain Mara watched the star map shift. A cluster of signals appeared at the edge of the display, sharp, organized, and fast. The Zrithi Collective. Unlike the Krith, the Zrithi did not rely on brute force. They were thinkers, tacticians, and masters of formation combat. Their ships were sleek, needle-shaped vessels designed for precision attacks. When other species panicked, the Zrithi planned. They studied. They adapted. And now they were coming straight toward the Horizon Spear. "Contact in 30 minutes, the navigator reported. "Open all long-range channels," Mara said. Her second officer hesitated. "Captain, do you expect the Zrithi to talk?" "No," she replied, "but I want them to know we offered the chance." Across space, the Zrithi fleet did not respond. They came in fast and quiet, forming a perfect V-shaped attack line. Their lead commander, Arvith Tal, listened to sensor updates with a calm expression. He was famous for his cold logic and his hatred of unpredictable variables. A human ship with unknown technology was the most dangerous variable he had ever seen. "Do not fire until we are within 5,000 meters, he said. "We will strike all at once. No mistakes." His crew obeyed with sharp discipline. None of them considered retreat. The Zrithi believed victory always belonged to the smarter species. Back on the Horizon Spear, the crew felt the mood shift. Dallin, the weapons officer, studied the data with a tight jaw. "They are not making the same mistakes as the Krith," he said. "No," Mara agreed. "They'll test us properly." Silence settled around them. The Zrithi were close now, so close that even civilians could sense the tension in the air. "Captain," the navigator whispered, "do we fire again?" "Not yet." Mara raised a hand. "We show restraint first. Let the galaxy see that humans do not attack without need." Minutes ticked by. The Zrithi fleet held its formation perfectly. Every ship moved in harmony. Every weapon charged in silence. Then the first shot came. A single Zrithi beam struck the Horizon Spear shields. The deck shook. Lights flickered. The humans steadied themselves. Shields at 80%. Someone called out. Another beam hit. Then another. Captain Mara closed her eyes for 1 second, breathing in the weight of the moment. The galaxy believed humans were slow. Weak. Lacking instinct. She opened her eyes. "Dallin," she said calmly. "Yes, Captain?" "Fire." The cannon hummed. The blue glow rose again, not a flash of power, but the quiet shimmer of space bending. Dallin fired. This time, the Zenith saw it coming. They shifted, curved, tightened formation, anything to avoid the thin streak of light. It didn't matter. The shot passed through the lead ships like a silent whisper. Their hulls folded inward, crumpling without flame or sound. The rear ships tried to break formation, but the ripple caught them too. Metal twisted like paper. Engines shut down in an instant. In less than 3 seconds, the entire Zenith attack line dissolved into drifting, lifeless pieces. No one cheered. No one spoke. They could only stare. The Horizon spear remained steady, untouched except for the fading glow of its shields. Captain Mara watched the wreckage slowly scatter into the darkness. She whispered, almost to herself, "Now the galaxy will stop laughing. Now it will fear us." And far away, in hidden war rooms, in councils of great species, in stations where soldiers trained, every observer who saw the aftermath felt the same cold thought. If humans had one ship like this, how many more were they hiding? The Zenith defeat spread across the galaxy like a shockwave. One human ship, slow, outdated, simple, had destroyed 2 powerful fleets from 2 very different empires. Every species scrambled to understand how. Military analysts ran simulations that made no sense. Scientists argued on public channels. Leaders whispered behind closed doors. No one liked the new question that echoed across every star system. What had humanity built? The Horizon spear still moved at its steady pace, not rushing or turning back. It felt unreal to watch it glide forward so calmly after destroying 2 fleets. The galaxy expected a monster ship, something enormous with glowing engines and thick armor. Instead, they saw the quiet walk of a predator that did not need to look dangerous. Inside the ship, however, the human crew felt the pressure rising. On the medical deck, Dr. Ivern checked wounded officers from the Zenith attack. They were minor injuries, burns, bruises, a broken arm. The cannon caused no recoil, no internal damage, no massive power drain. But the Zenith shots had shaken the ship hard enough to toss people around. As he wrapped a bandage around a young pilot's arm, she asked in a trembling voice, "Doctor, what if the next fleet is bigger?" Ivern gave her a gentle smile. "Then we stay calm until Captain Mara gives the order. Same as always." She nodded, but her eyes showed doubt. And Ivern felt it too, deep in his chest. The power of the human weapon was incredible, almost unreal. But if the entire galaxy focused on one ship, could the Horizon spear survive endless waves of enemies? He did not know. In the command deck, tension hung like thick fog. The navigator checked long-range sensors again and again. Dallin sat at the weapons console with steady hands, though his eyes carried new weight. Captain Mara stood in her usual place, but even she felt the growing silence around them. Then, at last, something appeared on the star map. Not one ship. Not 5 ships. An entire fleet, spread wide, organized, and too large for standard sensors to count quickly. The crew froze. "Identification?" Mara asked quietly. The navigator swallowed hard. "Multiple factions. Mixed signatures. They're coming together. A joint fleet, Captain." A joint fleet meant something more terrifying than a single empire's anger. It meant the galaxy was cooperating. It meant species that hated each other were willing to stand in the same space if it meant stopping one human ship. A united threat. The Horizon spear had become too dangerous to ignore. "How long until contact?" Mara asked. 2 hours. Dallin breathed out slowly. "That many ships?" "Captain, even if the cannon slices dozens at once, that fleet could absorb losses and keep firing." Mara turned her head slightly. "Are you afraid?" He didn't lie. "Yes." "Good," she said. "Fear keeps us sharp." But deep inside, she felt something else, an old memory rising like a shadow. The cannon they carried was not just a weapon but a warning. Humanity had built it not to conquer, but to send a message: we are not weak. We are not prey. And now every species was coming to test that message. In a hidden chamber below the ship's core, 2 engineers worked around the main power coil. The coil was the heart of the cannon. It controlled the bending of space, the cutting wave. But it was also unstable. Each shot strained it in ways humans were still studying. Rulin examined readouts with a frown. 3 shots in 1 day. The coil isn't built for long battles. Lyra looked up sharply. "How many more shots can we fire?" He did not answer at first. His silence was the answer. "We need to tell the captain," Lyra insisted. "We will," Rulin said. "But she already knows. She knew before we launched." The girl felt a cold chill spread through her chest. So this mission, it wasn't meant to survive? Rulin's eyes softened. It was meant to end the galaxy's laughter. Even if it cost us something. Above them, Mara listened to the fleet's incoming messages. Dozens of species spoke, some demanding surrender, others demanding the cannon's secrets, and a few simply wanting to wipe humans out entirely. The captain let the noise continue for several minutes. Then she ordered communications to mute. "It begins," she said. The fleet finally appeared in visual range. Hundreds of ships formed a massive circle around the horizon sphere. Every weapon was pointed at the tiny human vessel. Lights glowed along their hulls like the eyes of giants. The crew braced for battle. Then a single ship stepped forward from the United Fleet. It was enormous, reflective, and shaped like a silver crescent. Its design was unmistakable. The Yvari conquered, a species known for neutrality, peacekeeping, and reason. If the Yvari were present, it meant the galaxy wanted answers, not just death. A deep, calm voice filled the horizon spear's bridge. "Human captain," it said, "we request peaceful negotiation. We do not wish to destroy you unless forced." The entire crew looked to Captain Mara. Her face did not show fear. But inside her eyes, a quiet fire grew. "Open a channel," she said. The room held its breath. Mara took one step toward the display, standing tall. "This is Captain Mara Lorne of the Horizon Spear," she said. "If the galaxy wants to talk, then speak. But remember this." She paused, letting the silence tighten. "Humans only fire when they must." Across the galaxy, billions listened. And the negotiation began. A soft hum filled the Horizon Spear's bridge as the communication channel opened. The image of a Yvari envoy appeared, a tall, slender being with skin like polished silver and eyes that shifted colors with emotion. But those eyes stayed calm now, cool and steady, like a mirror reflecting the entire galaxy's fear. "Captain Mara Lorne," the Yvari envoy said, "you have destroyed 2 fleets. The Krith and the Zrithi demand justice. Many other empires demand explanations. The United Fleet seeks peace, but only if you lay down your weapon." The bridge crew shifted uneasily. They knew the envoy's words were not truly peaceful. Every ship in the circle outside had weapons ready. If Mara said the wrong thing, the Horizon Spear would be erased in seconds. Captain Mara did not blink. "We fired only in self-defense," she said. "Twice, hostile fleets attacked us first." "That may be so," the envoy replied, "but the destruction you caused was excessive." Dallin, still seated at the weapons console, whispered under his breath, "They would have killed us without blinking." The Yvari envoy continued, "We cannot allow a single ship with an unknown, dangerous weapon to travel freely. We ask again, disable your cannon, power down your core, and surrender for examination." Silence fell on the Horizon Spear. Everyone looked to Mara. She took a slow breath. Her voice stayed calm, but inside, she felt the weight of the next decision pressing against her bones. "We cannot surrender," she said simply. The envoy's eyes darkened. "Then negotiations fail." Around the sector, hundreds of ships locked weapons onto the Horizon Spear. Red targeting lights spread across space like fireflies. But then Mara said, "However, we are willing to talk. Truly talk. Not threats. Not demands. A conversation between equals." The envoy tilted its head, studying her. "Then speak." Mara stepped closer to the screen. "You all believe humanity wants war. You believe we seek to conquer or to intimidate. That is false. We built this cannon only because the galaxy ignored us. Mocked us. Exploited us." Her voice hardened, but her words stayed steady and clear. "We ask for recognition. Respect. A place at the table. Nothing more." The envoy remained silent for several long seconds. The crew waited, every muscle tense. Finally, the Yvari said, "Your demands are not unreasonable. But your actions frighten the galaxy. We cannot trust what we do not understand. Show us the weapon. Share its design. Let us inspect your ship." Lyra's voice crackled through the engineering calm before she realized she had spoken aloud. "We can't show them anything," she said, shocked by her own boldness. The envoy's eyes narrowed. "Who is that?" Mara did not answer. Instead, she slowly turned off the general comm and faced her crew. "Speak freely," she said. Lyra swallowed and continued, "Captain. If they see the coil, they'll know it's unstable. They'll know we can't fire many more shots. They'll know we're vulnerable." Rulon, appearing on the comm beside her, added quietly, "And if they know that, they'll attack." The bridge fell quiet again. Even Mara stiffened slightly at the confirmation. The Horizon Spear was powerful, but fragile. The cannon could win fights, not wars. And the galaxy was preparing for a war. Before Mara could respond, the ship shook. "Hard. Impact?" Dallin shouted. "No." The navigator yelled. "A gravity surge, pulling us downward." The view screen turned white as a massive gravitational wave washed over the ship. The lights flickered, and alarms echoed across every deck. Outside, the United Fleet shifted uneasily, their ships moving to maintain position. The Yavari envoy reappeared on the flickering display. "Human captain. What are you doing?" "That wasn't us," Mara snapped. The gravity wave vanished as suddenly as it had come. Space cleared. Silence returned. Then something else appeared. A shadow. Something enormous drifted from behind a distant moon. A vessel so large it dwarfed every ship in the United Fleet. Its hull was dark, curved, and ancient. Symbols glowed along its sides, symbols no one in the current galaxy recognized. The Yavari envoy's face finally cracked, showing true fear. "Impossible. That ship belongs to the Vorx Dominion. They vanished thousands of years ago." The Vorx Dominion. A legend. A nightmare. A species believed extinct, wiped out by their own terrible weapons. But their ship was here. Alive. An awakening. The massive vessel emitted a low rumble, a sound felt more than heard. Its energy readings spiked in sharp, unstable bursts. Its weapons, from an era of forgotten wars, began to glow. The entire United Fleet panicked. "Captain," Dallin whispered, "that thing could destroy all of us. Every ship here." Mara stared at the rising threat. Something in her chest tightened, but not with fear. With understanding. "This is why no one uses weapons that bend space," she murmured. "The Vorx created the first one. And we woke them up." The envoy shouted through the comm, "Human captain, we must coordinate. We must defend this sector together." Mara turned to her crew. "Battle stations," she said calmly. But then she added something no one expected. "And prepare channels to every ship. All species. All factions." Dallin blinked. "Captain. What are you doing?" Mara looked at him, her eyes blazing with purpose. "Exactly what the galaxy feared," she said. "A human leading them." The United Fleet hovered in complete shock. Hundreds of ships, Krith blade cruisers, Zrithi precision frigates, Yavari crescents, and dozens more, held formation only because they were too frightened to break it. Every crew, in every vessel, stared at the massive dark shape rising from behind the moon. The Vorx ship. A relic from a forgotten age of destruction. A nightmare wrapped in ancient metal. Its surface rippled with shifting symbols, almost like they were alive, glowing faintly with a cold blue light. No one understood the markings. No one wanted to. A low, trembling vibration cut through space again. It felt like a growl. A warning. Inside the Horizon Spear, the crew did not move. They watched through the forward screen as the enormous ship lifted higher. Its weapons ports opened like the eyes of a predator waking from a long sleep. Dallin's fingers tightened around the weapons console. "Captain. The Vorx ship is powering something. We should fire. We have to fire." "No," Mara said. The crew turned toward her. For the first time since the mission began, her voice carried a quiet tension. "This ship isn't reacting to us," she explained. "It's reacting to the whole fleet. To everyone. If we attack, we'll become its focus. And if it turns its full attention on us." She didn't finish. They all knew. The Horizon Spear, for all its power, could not face the Vorx alone. A moment later, the Yavari envoy returned on the comm screen. He looked shaken, his glowing eyes shifting rapidly through terrified colors. "Human captain," he said quickly, "this is no time for pride or conflict. We must unite forces. The Vorx Dominion is not extinct. This proves it." Mara nodded. "Open full communication channels. Every species. Every ship." The comm officer tapped several controls, and one by one, displays lit up. Dozens of windows appeared, faces and forms from every major empire and many minor ones. Krith commanders snarling. Zenith tacticians watching carefully. Human diplomats from far-off stations. Even pirates and mercenary captains who happened to be nearby. All stared at the horizon spear. Waiting. Mara stepped forward, standing tall and calm. Her voice carried across hundreds of vessels. "This is Captain Mara Lauren," she said. "You all came here to stop us. Some of you came to destroy us. I understand that. But the threat before us is older than any conflict between species. It is older than the galaxy's borders. And it will kill every living thing if we do nothing." A Krith captain snarled through one window. "Why should we trust humans? Why follow you?" "Because," Mara said, "my ship has faced impossible odds today, and survived. Because we have the technology needed to understand what we're facing." The Zenith representative narrowed her eyes. "You mean your canon?" "No," Mara replied. "I mean our history." Everyone stared. Mara continued, "Humans were attacked by the Orcs once. Long before any of you encountered us. We survived their weapon tests on our outer colonies centuries ago. We learned from it. We built protections in secret. The rest of the galaxy never believed us, never listened." Another voice cut in, a deep growl from a reptilian species. "If this is true, then you know how to defeat them?" "No," Mara said, "but we know how to slow them. And we know how they think." Before the United Fleet could respond, the Vorex's ship moved. A massive pulse of blue energy burst from its side, not a beam, but a wave, like a silent explosion. It stretched across space, bending light as it traveled. The wave passed through the nearest ships. They did not explode. They simply shut off. Their engines went dead. Their lights dimmed. Their hulls drifted silently, powerless and cold. "No casualties," the navigator whispered. "But total shutdown. They're disabled." More weapons ports opened on the ancient vessel. The message was clear: surrender, or be erased from the stars. Panic broke out across the United Fleet. "They're targeting us next. How do we fight that? We can't do this." "Quiet." Mara's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. The comm channels fell silent again. "The Voreks are testing," she said. "They always test before they kill. We must respond now, together." Dallin spoke up, his voice firm. "Captain, the cannon can disrupt their field. But it will drain our coil almost completely." "Meaning?" asked the Yavari envoy. Rulin's voice came through the engineering channel. "Meaning one more full shot could push the weapon to its limit. After that, the Horizon Spear may not have enough power to escape. Or survive." Everyone looked to Mara. She breathed slowly, her mind racing but her voice calm. "If we fire on our own, we die," she said. "If we retreat alone, we die. If we do nothing, the entire galaxy dies." She stared straight into the comm screen, straight into the faces of the galaxy that once mocked humanity. "We fight as one." A long silence followed. Tension stretched across every channel. Then, finally, a Zenith admiral nodded. "Zenith forces stand with you." A Krith commander growled. "Fine. But if you betray us, human." "Focus on the real enemy," Mara said. One by one, every species agreed. The Yavari envoy's eyes glowed bright gold. "The United Fleet follows your lead, Captain Mara." The Horizon Spear's crew felt the shift, like gravity changing direction. For the first time, humanity wasn't the weakest. They were the center. Mara turned to her crew. "Prepare firing sequence," she ordered. "And signal the fleet. On my mark, everyone moves." Dallin's hands hovered over the console. "Captain. This could burn out the coil forever." Mara nodded. "I know." Lights dimmed. The cannon hummed, its blue glow rising slowly, dangerously. Outside, the United Fleet spread out, forming a wide attack ring around the ancient Voreks vessel. The galaxy held its breath. Mara raised her hand. "One shot," she whispered. "And everyone follows." The Horizon Spear fell into a deep, humming silence. Every light dimmed to a low glow. Every system tightened down to minimum use. The cannon's power coil drank energy like a starving beast, vibrating through the deck plates in soft, unsettling pulses. The crew felt each tremor in their bones. Dallin wiped sweat from his hands and checked the targeting display again. "Captain. The cannon is charging at triple its normal level. The space around us is already bending." Mara kept her eyes on the massive Vorrex ship. Hold steady. We fire only when every fleet reports ready. Around them, the United Fleet moved in a slow, careful arc. It was not a tight, neat formation. These ships had never fought together before. Some drifted too far. Some moved too close. Many captains argued across open channels until Mara ordered them to silence. But they moved. They formed a ring around the ancient warship, the first true multi-species battle line in modern galactic history. On the engineering deck, Lyra watched the power readings climb higher than she'd ever seen them. The numbers flashed red. Warning symbols filled the screen. "Chief," she whispered, "the coil can't hold this charge. It's heating too fast." "I know," Rulin said. His voice shook with exhaustion, but his eyes stayed sharp. "We can cool it for a few minutes, but after that..." Lyra swallowed. "If the coil ruptures?" "It won't rupture." Rulin forced a smile. "It will simply disappear. Along with half this ship." The girl's face went pale. Rulin rested one hand on her shoulder. "Stay focused. Humanity is on this deck right now. We are the ones holding the heart of the Horizon Spear." Up on the command bridge, Mara received readiness signals from the fleets. Zrithi ships aligned their long, needle-like cannons. Krith cruisers activated their heavy plasma throws. Yavari vessels assembled shield domes meant to protect the entire line. But none of it mattered without Mara's single shot. The Vorrex ship could disable them all again with one wave. "Captain," the navigator said softly, "the Vorrex ship is powering another pulse. If it fires first, we won't give it the chance." A new voice cut in from the United Channel. The Yavari envoy's face appeared again. "Human captain," he said, "the galaxy stands ready. The choice is yours." Mara took a slow breath. She had been calm before Zrithi weapons. Before Krith threats. Before the galaxy's judgment. But now she felt something else. Not fear, purpose. A heavy, undeniable purpose. "Fleet," she said. "On my mark." The Vorrex ship's symbols flashed brighter, glowing with cold, alien power. Its weapons began to hum, light building behind ancient armor. In the Horizon Spear, the cannon coil screamed. It vibrated until the deck plates rattled. The blue glow became painful to look at. Even Dallin had to shield his eyes. "Captain," he shouted. "We're at maximum. Any more and the coil will collapse." Mara lifted her hand. Every ship in the fleet held its breath. The Vorrex weapon reached full charge. Dallin's voice cracked. "Captain." "Mark." The Horizon Spear fired. The shot was not a beam this time. It was not a simple ripple or a thin line of light. It was a distortion, a tear, like space itself was being sliced open. The glow was blinding. The sound was a deep, vibrating roar that shook the entire ship. The tearing wave shot outward, ripping through the void, heading straight for the Vorrex vessel. The ancient ship reacted instantly. It fired its own pulse, a powerful blast of collapsing energy that spread like a dark, expanding ring. The two forces collided. Light and shadow smashed together, warping space like twisting cloth. The collision created a shockwave so powerful it threw ships off course and rattled every hull. But Mara's shot did not break. It pushed. It cut. It carved through the Vorrex field, shredding it like fragile silk. Then it hit. The tearing wave sliced into the ancient ship's armor. Not cleanly, not like the Krith or Zrithi ships, but violently. Metal twisted. Shields sparked. Symbols across its surface flickered in panic as the ship struggled to hold its form. Dallin stared in disbelief. "It's working, but it's not enough." He was right. The Vorrex ship, though damaged, fought back. It unleashed a new pulse, smaller, more focused, straight toward the Horizon Spear. A death shot. "Captain!" the navigator cried. "Brace for impact." Mara didn't move. She watched it approach, her heartbeat steady. But before the pulse hit, a wall of shimmering light formed in front of the Horizon Spear. A Yavari shield dome. The pulse slammed into it, shattering half the shield fleet, but stopping the deadly blast. Other species reacted instantly. Zrithi cannons fired streams of focused energy into the cracked armor. Krith plasma blasts followed, hammering weak points. Smaller fleets launched volleys of missiles, drones, and disruptors, everything they had. The United Fleet attacked as one. The Vorrex ship staggered under the assault. Its glowing symbols dimmed. Its weapons began to flicker. The ancient hull groaned as cracks spread along its surface. And slowly, the massive vessel folded inward, collapsing like a dying star. Then it went dark. Completely dark. A silent, empty shell drifting through the void. The United Fleet froze in place. The battle was over. Breaths were held. Voices shook. And then, finally, Mara whispered the words the galaxy never expected a human to say. "Stand down. It's finished." But as relief washed over the fleet, Lyra's trembling voice came through the calm. "Captain. The coil's gone. We lost the cannon." Mara closed her eyes. The galaxy had won. But the Horizon Spear had paid its price. The Horizon Spear drifted in silence. No glow from its cannon. No hum from the power coil. Half the lights on the ship flickered like tired stars, and the engines pushed only at minimum strength. For the first time since the mission began, the ship looked exactly how the galaxy always believed it to be: slow, fragile, and unimportant. But now, every species knew the truth. The ship that looked weak had led the entire galaxy into victory. Captain Mara stood on the bridge, her hands resting calmly behind her back. She watched the Vortex rune on the screen, an enormous, broken shell drifting deeper into the void. Even dead, the ancient vessel radiated a strange aura of danger, as if its memory alone could still frighten anyone who looked at it. Dallin sat at the weapons console, staring at the blank readings where the cannon status used to be. It felt strange to see that part of the screen empty. Almost lonely. "Captain," he said quietly, "the Vortex ship's core is collapsing. Soon it'll fall into a dormant state." Mara nodded. "Good. That means it can't hurt anyone anymore." The navigator approached them. "The fleets are requesting communication. They want you to speak to them. All of them." Mara let out a slow breath. "Open the channel." A moment later, the bridge filled with windows again, faces, antennae, scales, feathers, metallic visors, dimly glowing eyes. Every species in the United Fleet watched her with a quiet, heavy respect. Even the Krith appeared subdued, their usual aggression held back by something new. For the first time in galactic history, silence connected every civilization at once. Mara stepped closer to the center display. "This battle is over," she began. "The Vortex threat has ended. Humanity thanks every ship, every captain, every soldier who fought with us." A Zrithi tactician spoke first. "The Horizon Spear delivered the blow none of us could. Without your weapon, we would have fallen." A Krith commander growled, but his voice softened in an unfamiliar way. "Your courage was impressive. Even for slow humans." Mara almost smiled. Then the Yavari envoy appeared. His silver form looked less tense now, his eyes shifting in softer colors. "Captain Mara Loren," he said, "the galaxy owes humanity a debt. Not only for the final strike, but for leading us when fear nearly broke us." The envoy paused, his metallic features reflecting the stars. "We wish to invite humanity to join the Galactic Accord as a full and equal member." With immediate effect, a wave of murmurs spread across the screens. Some species nodded. Some hesitated. But none disagreed. For centuries, humanity had been treated as a lesser voice: slow ships, weak engines, primitive weapons. A species tolerated, not respected. A species mocked, not listened to. But now, after all that had happened, after the battles and the shared danger, the galaxy looked at them with new eyes. Eyes that saw equals. Mara did not speak right away. She let the weight of the moment settle gently over the bridge. Finally, she said, "Humanity accepts. And we promise to stand with the galaxy, not above it." A ripple of approval spread through the fleets. Even the stern faces softened. But the moment was interrupted by a soft alarm from the engineering deck. Rulin appeared on the screen, soot streaked across his face. "Captain, we need repairs. Real ones. We burned out half our systems keeping the ship stable. The coil is completely gone." The bridge grew quiet. Dallin lowered his head. "We won the fight, but our cannon, the thing that made the galaxy listen, it's finished." For a few seconds, no one spoke. Then Mara said, "Good." Everyone turned toward her, confused. She continued, "The cannon was never meant to be a weapon of terror. It was meant to be a message. We don't need it now. Not anymore." Lyra's voice joined in over the calm, trembling but hopeful. "So, what happens to the Horizon Spear?" Mara looked around her ship, the flickering lights, the tired consoles, the crew that had given everything. It goes home, she said softly. When the United Fleet heard her words, an unexpected thing happened. Ships from every species moved aside, forming a long, open corridor through space. A path of honor. As the Horizon Spear began its slow journey forward, dozens of ships dipped their wings or lowered their bows, a gesture of deep respect in their cultures. The once mocked human ship passed through them, drifting quietly under the watching eyes of the galaxy. No one laughed at its slow speed now. No one mocked its worn hull. Every vessel watched with admiration, even pride, knowing that this simple ship, this fragile-looking outsider, had changed the course of history. Inside the bridge, the crew sat in peaceful silence, each one absorbing the moment. Dallin whispered, "Captain. They're saluting us." Mara nodded, her voice barely above a breath. "And that is enough." The Horizon Spear continued moving, its engines dim but steady, carrying its crew toward home. Behind it, the galaxy slowly healed. Ahead of it, a new age waited, an age where humanity was no longer the punchline of cosmic jokes. An age where, for the first time ever, the galaxy understood the truth. Humans were never weak. They were simply underestimated. And now, they never would be again. The Horizon Spear spent 3 quiet days gliding through safe space, leaving the battlefield far behind. No enemy ships followed. No threats appeared. Every sensor sweep showed nothing but peaceful stars and drifting dust clouds. The galaxy had finally stopped chasing them. But inside the ship, the crew still carried the weight of everything they had seen. Victory brought relief, but also a strange emptiness, like they were floating between the world they knew and the future they suddenly belonged to. In the engineering deck, Lyra tightened the last bolt on a damaged support beam. Her hands still shook from exhaustion, but she kept working. Fixing things helped keep her mind steady. Rulin wiped sweat from his forehead. "That's the last of the emergency repairs," he said. "We've stabilized everything except the coil chamber." Lyra looked toward the dark, silent space where the cannon coil once pulsed with blue light. Now it was just a hollow cavity wrapped in burned metal. "Do you think we should rebuild it?" she asked softly. Rulin shook his head. "The captain won't allow it. And honestly, I don't think we should either." Lyra didn't argue. She knew he was right. The cannon had saved the galaxy, but it was also a thing of terrible risk. A weapon that bent space wasn't something to play with. It had almost broken the ship, and them, more than once. Still, she touched the empty chamber gently, almost like she was touching a grave. "It feels strange," she whispered. "Like part of the ship is missing." Rulin's voice softened. "It is. But what remains is enough." Up on the bridge, Captain Mara studied the stars ahead. The calm view almost felt unreal after the chaos they had seen. Dallin stood beside her, scanning the navigation readouts. "The fleet is still following our journey," he said. "Not close. Just observing. Escorting, I guess." Mara nodded. "They want to make sure we reach human space safely." "They're guarding us," Dallin said quietly, like he barely believed it. She allowed herself a small smile. "The galaxy has changed." A soft chime sounded from the comm station. "Captain," the communications officer said, "we're receiving an incoming message. Direct from Earth Command." Mara straightened. "Put it through." The holographic display flickered before showing the face of Admiral Rowe, the highest-ranking officer in the Human Union's fleet. Her expression was stern, but her eyes glowed with pride. "Captain Mara Loren," she said, "on behalf of humanity, I welcome you home." "Thank you, Admiral," Mara replied. "The mission is complete." "That is an understatement," Admiral Rowe said. "You've done what no other crew has ever done. You gave humanity a voice powerful enough to reach every corner of the galaxy." Behind her, the faint sounds of celebration echoed, cheers, shouts, clapping. The Horizon Spear's crew exchanged looks of surprise. Their quiet ship had become a symbol. Admiral Rowe continued, "We request your immediate return to Earth. The Galactic Accord will hold a summit in 3 days. They expect humanity to attend, and they want you there." Mara hesitated. "Admiral, the Spear is damaged. Our engines are barely holding. We're sending an escort team," the Admiral said. "You will not travel alone." Mara nodded. "Understood." The image faded. Dallin let out a long breath. "Captain, a Galactic Accord summit? That's huge. That's a new beginning," Mara finished. The ship continued forward, its engines humming softly. But outside, Scattered through the silence, different species vessels follow the horizon sphere, some curious, some respectful, some still unsure what to think of humans. Hours later, the ship slipped into a quiet nebula. Soft, blue clouds floated around them like gentle fog. It was peaceful, almost dreamlike. Crew members finally took time to rest. Lyra wandered onto the observation deck, leaning against the glass. The stars here looked softer, dimmer, like they were drifting in warm water. She closed her eyes. A voice broke the silence behind her. "Hard to believe we were fighting for our lives a few days ago," Dallin said. She nodded. "It feels like a dream. Or a story someone else lived." Dallin stepped closer to the window. "Do you think the galaxy will really treat us differently now?" Lyra looked at him, then back at the stars. "They saluted us. All of them. Even the Krith. I don't think they'll forget that." "But respect doesn't last forever," Dallin said quietly. "Maybe not. But we earned a place," she replied. "That matters." On the bridge, Mara sat alone after everyone else left. She turned off the lights, letting the soft glow of space fill the room. The ship creaked gently around her, like it was settling into rest. She closed her eyes. For years, humans had been called slow. Now the galaxy followed their path. A soft chime sounded, a final message arriving on a private channel. Mara opened her eyes and viewed the small screen. A simple message appeared, written in calm, deliberate script. "To the captain of the Horizon Spear, you united us in battle. Now unite us in peace. Yavari Council." Mara stared at the words for a long moment. Then she whispered, "We will." Outside, the Horizon Spear emerged from the nebula and pointed its nose toward the distant blue glow of the Sol system. Its journey home had begun. And with it, the start of a new chapter, not just for the crew, not just for the ship, but for all humanity. For the first time in history, the galaxy waited for them.